Oh, well, hello, Miss Lally.
Well, hello.
So we're talking about like how supporting your school and its vision and what your administration sees for this school. How do you think you've been able to do that this year?
This school is really big on students learning like social skills and how to adapt with trauma. I think, all the professional development and the outside research with just reading different books and stuff like that, able to understand how students' home life affects how they come to school and how they act when they're in school, and just knowing and doing the PDs to learn how to handle those kids, how to keep myself calm um, in order to support kids mentally to help them, which in turn helps them academically.
And I know that's a huge push in this school. That seems to be the major focus is, how to deal with kids and their trauma. So yes, I know you do yoga in the classroom, you do your class meetings, you're doing all those school initiatives that are really supporting that mission to make sure that you're supporting all the kids with their ACEs and that kind of
Right.
stuff. So as you've come into this profession of teaching, have you seen that you can start to pick up on the political end of education and the cultural edge of education, and how do you think that impacts like your classroom and what you do every day?
So I definitely think, seeing like the different routes you can take, which kind of a roundabout answer to your question, but I think you can either, stay with the classroom end and stay out of the politics, or you could go like more onto like futuring yourself in education and kind of going towards the admin end.
Mm-hmm.
But I have noticed, like, just within my first year of teaching, that how the how admin wants their school to be run is how the school is going to be run. So every school is very different. Um, this school heavily focuses on reading, and in the lower grades in
Mm-hmm.
K through 3, and sometimes I think like math is very important, and but as admin has kind of instructed that we focus heavily on reading, so we don't get that much time with math.
Yeah, and you think about, I think admin has to always think about the political end of it too, like my reading score is being published, all those things that what drives decision making sometimes. We have to think about, are we doing it based on a historical thing that's always happened in education? Are we doing it because culturally in our community it's what the kids need? Are we doing it based on a political move that we want to look good in the news today? So I think you're right. And they really can impact you and how your classroom is run. And I think that you have to, like, what do you think you'll do to do you think you bring that into the classroom, or do you think you leave it out of the classroom?
Well, right now, especially being my first year, I just am doing what's told, and and I think, in a way, I like it only because I am so new. So it's helped me learn and have a base that now I can go into my class doing what I'm told, learn from it, and then see what do we really need. And kind of in addition to that, I think we have a really strong second grade team where we're all fairly new. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
just one really senior
Mm-hmm.
veteran teacher. But we kind of are starting to see, we all kind of did that. We just did what we were told,
Mm-hmm.
and now we see this is what we really need. And I think that with us all standing kind of up together, we can speak to like, well, we really need this.
So you're finding
So
your power in your voice, a collective voice. When you're
right,
collective and you work together, there's a lot of power in that.
right.
And that's the same with the social aspect of school. It's
Mm-hmm.
that collective voice that makes change for positive or for negative, I think sometimes. So tell me more. So then the next part was like talking about knowing, and having respect for your students' families, their beliefs, their culture. How do you think you were able to show that or accomplish that, or do you find it important? Just based on where you're teaching, huh?
Yeah, I do find it very important. First of all, just because, with this culture that is in this school, family is very important to the kids, and it's important. They're family is very important in this culture. So, and these kids care about where they came from. They care about their culture. So, since we kind of talked about this last week or the week before, and since then I've kind of started to have them like teach me Spanish, and they enjoy it. They love it, and but not just the language barrier. I think understanding their culture and helping them. Some of them know where their culture, but they don't truly understand the holidays and what they mean. So teaching them that, I've kind of started doing that. It's kind of fun too. So.
Yeah, and I think and that does show that you respect their culture and their beliefs because you don't isolate it. We don't have it's this other thing that doesn't exist. We try to blend it, and blend it into your everyday learning because they do value that. And I think you're seeing that, like the more that you kind of show your interest, the more they really buy into you, I think, as that, oh, she does believe in that. And that is a part of me because their culture is just as much as part of them as their skin color, their hair, it's all that. So I think when you start to show that you have knowledge of it too, that really is exciting to them.
Yeah.
So good. And then we have talked about this too, but you advocating for your students. Can you give me an example of how you've done that this year? I know you have, but I just want you to talk about it.
Well, so I'll just like one student in particular that she's came in low. She's been low in kinder, low in first, miserably failing both grades. And then she's going to fail second. But we just keep moving her along, and she'll be moved along this year. But, I really tried to push for her to get in SPED. And it was a year process. So I started at the beginning of the year, and she just got tested. But I pushed for her to get tested back in like September, and she just got tested in April. So, it took a lot of effort to even get that to happen. But, just communication with the parents, communication with everybody in the school. She's in every single possible intervention that she could be in. So just trying to work and get her grades up.
It's hard, and you're right. It's a very frustrating experience, I think, for teachers because we know that this kid needs some kind of help that we don't feel prepared or able to give them. And the process, and you had to really hang in there and keep evidence. Let me show you what she's doing, and that's what they want. And then I know we'd even get the result that we were hoping for, but what I thought was good. What shows me you advocate for her is more than just getting her tested for SPED. When she wasn't accepted, you knew she still needed that extra help. So you got her into all those interventions. You try to get her things that she needed at her level. And that is advocating for your student when nobody else seems to know them like you know them. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's an important part of your job, or do you think that's something you shouldn't be doing?
No, I think it is an important part of my job only because as a teacher, you're the one that sees that student every day. You see how they work. You see their work style. You see them firsthand and know them firsthand. They tell you their stories. You know if they're trying or if they're not trying. So I think that is the teacher's job. But what I found through the whole process is no one listens to the teacher. And that's kind of the funny part, is the teacher is the one that knows, but everyone treats the teacher like they don't know. So, because if the teacher doesn't advocate, no one's going to advocate for that student. So it's kind of ironic, the whole process.
And isn't it? And I agree with you. Can be the most frustrating thing when you have a school psychologist that met with the kid for 30 minutes and tested him and said they're fine. And you're like, but I've been with them for 6 months. I'm telling you. And it is a frustrating process. But I hope that you learn that even when obstacles are put in your path, you have to you're overcoming it for the kid. You're looking past all the political end of it and going, I'm going to give them what they need, and this is what they need. And that's what good teachers do, because that's how we sleep at night, and that's what makes this job important. And it is, and I hate to tell you this, but it probably won't be the first time that you run into those obstacles, and just knowing that you're sometimes going to have to push really hard for that kid. And I think, if at the end of the day you did everything you could do, that's all you can do, if the best thing you can say is am I doing what's best for this kid? If the answer is always yes, then I think then you can feel good about it. Even if you're not always getting the results you want, that you're still not going to let all that stop you from doing what you know in your teacher brain needs to be done. So good job. Good job, Miss Lally.